And my biggest concern too, and this just is what I can't make sense of, is that throughout training camp, we saw so many different opportunities and so many different examples of the Jets putting both of their running backs on the field together. I mean, there were times where before he got hurt, it was Braylon Allen and Breece Hall in the backfield together in the shotgun with Justin Fields. There were times when Braylon Allen was the running back and you had Breece Hall split wide, and the Jets were talking about how they were going to unlock Hall in different ways and they were going to use him in different ways. And they just always regress back to not using him. And I don't hate Isaiah Davis being on the field, but why not put Isaiah Davis and Breece Hall right next to Tyrod Taylor? Like why not have them both together? That's immediately going to throw a wrinkle in that the defense has to worry about because both those guys can run the ball. Both those guys can catch the ball. Neither of those players is a liability in pass blocking. We've seen in the Bengal game, it was Isaiah Davis's block, which was a key play in the pass to Jeremy Ruckert. In this afternoon's game or yesterday afternoon's game against the Ravens, it was Breece Hall who stepped up on a big play. I believe it went to Mechie on the left side of the field, but it was a blitz pickup by Breece Hall, which allowed Tyrod Taylor the time to go through there. So it's not like either of those players is a liability in that regard. Put them out there and let them work together. Create confusion because when you're in a situation like the Jets are right now, they are going to be at a talent disadvantage against the vast majority of opponents that they are going to see the rest of the way. And this isn't unlike Zach Wilson's rookie year when Mike LaFleur had to get uber creative. And do you remember the play that he ran where it was the pass, I believe it was to Crowder under the middle, and then he pitched it back to Braxton Berrios, who ran down the field, or maybe it wasn't Crowder, it was somebody else. But like it was the trickeration that you'd see and the creativity, because what LaFleur realized in the moment was that he didn't have the dogs and the horses to go toe-to-toe, mano-a-mano, and just beat somebody outright. He had to kind of steal yards and manufacture big plays, and that's what he did. And unfortunately, we haven't seen Tanner Engstrand do a lot of that. There have been a couple trick plays that he's thrown out there, but nothing like using the weapons that you do have with Garrett Wilson no longer in the lineup. Get your two running backs that you clearly like, because you use Isaiah Davis in big situations. He was on the field there on 4th and 2. Use these players at the same time to try to put the defense in a situation where maybe it's not a full-on mismatch, but you make them think for a second, and they just don't do that. And it's not like they can't, because we saw it in training camp. They're just not doing it now.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes into – I mean, this Breece Hall thing, I feel like we've talked about it every week with the lack of involvement using him in the passing game. It's very simple. Like even this game, I think there was a perception that they got him the ball more in the passing game, but he had 2 targets early in the game, didn't have another one until the drive where he fumbled it, where he had 2 targets, and I think he finished with 4 targets. So that's not – like Breece Hall should be getting anywhere from 6 to 10 targets every week, especially like Garrett Wilson's not – in the lineup, and he's still not getting thrown the ball. Like it is so maddening to me, and that's like the biggest knock on Tanner Engstrand's resume right now is the refusal to involve Breece Hall in the passing game. I do think Tyrod is more willing to throw the checkdowns than maybe Justin Fields should have been, and so maybe we'll see that be incorporated more into the game as we go forward. And they have the Falcons this week. It's a pretty good pass defense. Like I would think they would want to use Breece Hall more. So we'll see. I mean, I don't get why they haven't to this point. Breece Hall is having a really good year. He just crossed 1,000 yards total for the season again for the 3rd straight year. So get him the ball, especially because I think one of my takeaways from this game actually was that I think they want him back next year. Just the way Aaron Glenn talks about him. Like I feel like they're going to keep him. Yeah. So start to use him in the passing game and figure out how you can use
financially.
him.
Now they can.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, when you got out of the Sauce contract, you got out of the Quinnen contract. I mean. You can literally extend Breece, franchise tag him, whatever you want to do with Breece Hall, and there is still a monstrous amount of salary cap space and dollars that you have as long as Woody gives them the cash to go sign and spend and all that stuff. And this is again, I don't agree necessarily with what I'm about to say, but it does make me think a little bit more about this, Zack, because like. What I always fall back on when it comes to criticizing coaches is that this is not the only staff that hasn't featured Breece Hall as a receiver.
Yeah.
Mike LaFleur didn't do it too much, where it's split him out wide or anything like that. Nathaniel Hackett didn't do it at all. Tanner Engstrand isn't doing it at all. So, do you mean to tell me that you and me sitting here talking right now the fans on social media that go nuts, all the other Jets writers and content creators that talk about the need to put Breece Hall as a receiver, use Breece Hall as a receiver, all of us see this and believe it should be done. But every offensive coach in the Jets building, all of these people that have done this throughout the course of their lives and have literally made it their livelihood to scheme and design ways, are sitting there going like, you know what? Crap, man, I never thought of that. Maybe we should. Like, why? Like, why are they not doing it? And the thing that I would fall back on is it's actually similar. I remember I was talking to Elliot Shore-Parks, who covers the Eagles for WIP, about this, and Dave Zangaro, who covers the Eagles as well for NBC Sports Philly, our sister station, is that Jalen Hurts was getting a ton of criticism a couple years ago for not throwing over the middle. And the Eagles not going over the middle and going over the middle and going over the middle. Why are they not going over the middle? Why is everything left and right and running up the middle, but nothing's attacking that middle portion of the field? And somebody pointed it out to me, and it was like, dude, don't you think that one of the coaches on that staff who are getting millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars to coach and scheme, and this is their livelihood, you don't think one of those guys was like, hey, maybe we should try this? Like, maybe there's a reason they're not trying this. So if the last coaching staff, Nathaniel Hackett, which you can rip and shred and all that stuff, but still, there were a lot of really good people on that Jets offensive staff. None of those guys ever stepped up to make Breece Hall a focal point as a weapon out of the backfield, having him run legitimate routes. So I'm not talking about screens and dump-offs or run actual routes. They didn't do it last year with that staff. Now you have an entirely new staff that has come in, and they're not doing it either. Like, maybe there's something there. I don't know, but maybe there's something there that there's a reason they're not doing it. You know what I mean? Again, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a trouble believing that, but it's kind of the only thing I can fall back on right now.
Yeah, I mean, you lay it out in that way, it's true. I mean, it was funny, the fake quote you just said about, like, oh, I never thought about that. Like, Nate Hackett actually said that at a press conference. I never thought about that with Breece. But, yeah, I wonder if it's – I think they get in their own heads too much. They see what the defense is showing them. They think they could counter with certain things, and I just think they've avoided it with Breece Hall. So, yeah, I don't know how many more different ways we could tell them to throw him the ball more. To your point, like maybe they don't like his route running or something. I don't know, but the way they talked about it was that they were going to use him as a receiver, and they have not done that. So